Okay, so in topic 4, what we're going to look into is the full stack Flutter or mobile application development, which I'm going to start with the all the fundamentals behind developing a complete mobile application with the user interface, the backend API, REST API, and finally with the database, and how each of the components here work with each other. Right, so this is basically allow you, topic 4 and the rest allow you to develop a complete mobile application. And in my book, I talk about this application called MyPasa. All right, so this MyPasa application is for those who are not familiar with Pasa, Pasa is what do you call it? Arabic soak, or you can call it. The names itself basically can be anything, but this is just an application that I call because to come out with application names sometimes can be very difficult, and people are out there. There's already a lot of application names, so it can be very difficult to come out with something original, something that you can trademark with and use for your application. And sometimes there's a tool out there to generate random application names. Okay, you can use the tools to generate, because sometimes you don't have any idea. You can somehow use the you can use like random application names, such as you can find out like through Google, like random app name generator, something like that. Okay, app name generator ideas or app name. So like say for grocery application. Okay, so if you put like that, you can have suggested names: sumo grocery, primary grocery, grocery stick, grocery polish, something that along the way suitable for the idea of your application. Okay, so there's so many names that can be used, but sometimes you might need to check if the name's already been used or has been copyrighted. Okay, so someone already think of the idea, and then you can use the name and then take it from there. So it seems a little bit can help you in a way. Okay, so this is just an app name or business name idea. All right, so in my case, so I just use a simple MyPasa. So Pasa is the Malay word. You can look through what is MyPasa, but the idea of this application, and for this semester, I'm going to develop. Usually, I develop a different application than the one that is available in the book. But this semester, I'm going to redo again the application, so the same MyPasa application, because I want to improve my book with a new or updated content. So through and through, I'm going to update the books with the updated version. So there might be changes throughout this, and later on, you can download the latest version of the book. Okay, because there are some other new element that I've learned, and I'm going to integrate that in the book, and then so that you get the latest and also the updated version later. So what is MyPasa application? So the MyPasa application is a solution to what we call as a local community-based application. So the application basically came out from the COVID situation that we have before. So it basically helped people to sell their product, homemade product, or they can sell whatever that they want through the platform. It's something similar to Mudah, but it is more on a mobile platform and more on a community platform. Okay, so local community, support local community business. Okay, small business or home business. So you can give it any names, my home business or my what we call as any typical names. So that is just a name. Yeah, that is the idea of the application, so that whoever register with the application, they can either look for items, products, or they can also post their own product that is they want to sell. Okay, they made homemade sambal, something like that, homemade cook, and then they want to sell through the platform, so they can do that, and then the application can only be used within certain radius. Okay, let's say like 10-kilometer radius or 5-kilometer radius, and people can only look, because we want to help local community, so that anything within that radius, we define that as a community. Okay, we can just send the item within that radius, right? So I hope you understand what does it mean by this application. Okay, so usually when you develop any application, you have to go through what we call as a standard application development methodology. You can choose any type of methodology that you interested in or you like to play with. So the most standard development application development methodology can be such as waterfall model. You can use prototyping, rapid prototyping. Man, there's so many development methodology that you can choose from. Okay, but here I'm going to use, because this is not the focus of this book, of this subject. We're going to loosely base on prototyping. Okay, prototyping development methodology, which start with a requirement gathering, application design, development, and finally with application testing. So can be done quickly because we want to come out with a prototype level application. All right, so when we talk about prototype means that the application is a working application, but to test out the idea. Most of current application, they started with a prototype to test the idea. So if the idea catch on, people accept the idea, they can what we call it, bind to the idea, and then you develop the full application. Okay, you develop the full flash application to solve some other issues with the prototyping, because prototyping, you can develop this application quite fast, and then you can put this test to the market and see the response from user. Okay, so if they think that is okay, and then your application start to make money, start to have user base, and then you can have more people to develop the application. Definitely, application development is not one man job. Okay, but sometimes when you're starting, or you have what we call as a startup business, you might not have too many people developing on the idea. So you have like 1 or 2% only to build to develop the idea into application. So you need to quickly come out with a prototype. Okay, so it is possible. Okay, there are many already out there application that started from just a simple prototype developed by one person, but now they become giant. Okay, so many already. All right, so those are just basic requirement, application design, development, and finally testing. So when we start, first we start with the application requirement. So I believe you've learned this through your software engineering class, how to properly gather user requirement. So you do have document on that, you do have methods on that, but I'm not focusing on that method. So here, the application requirement, this is basically, I laid down the requirement based on what the application will be able to do. Okay, for example, user should be able to view and search product or services list from the main application. Okay, so just like any typical application, so whenever user access the application, they should be able to see or perform search or view the current product listing. So that should be available in the main application layout. And product or services should be within the set range from current user location. Okay, so since we want to support the local community of the idea, okay, the main idea for this application is local. We don't want anything to do with posting with courier, because that will introduce more complex management. Okay, so we try not to do that. So the application basically just to support local community. Okay, anything within the radius that you can send the product, you can drive, you can go to the user, and that what we are looking at, not as full-fledged something like mudah, that one can be easily cheated by people, they can scam others. So we try to avoid that complexity. All right. So you used to be allowed to see the details. Okay, they can see the details of the product. They can register to contact the product or service owner to make further arrangement. Okay, so this is also something that different. Okay, you need also to pitch the difference of your application compared to what is already available out there. Okay, so because you want to help local community, so you need this. You might need this method, or you might not this method. Okay, so users should be registered. Okay, a seller who wish to post the product should register with the application using the registration form. So every new seller registration will be given with a credit value. So if you want to become seller, okay, you can register. Basically, a seller and user, they are basically the same. But if you want to become a seller, you will be given with a free credit value, because the application also need to make money. So you need to attract people with something first. So you provide free credits. If the seller think that the application has value, and then they will buy the credit from the company. So that may be one of the methods that you can use to create money, or to create value for your for the application. Okay, so because application, there's not, you cannot just create anything for free. Okay, if you create anything for free, you need to think about how you're going to survive, how the application can survive in terms of paying for the infrastructure, for the web hosting, for the people who work there, for the application update, there's so many things that you need. The API, if you use any. So when you use things for free, or application for free, that you should think something is going on there. Okay, that's one application that I'm not saying it is bad or good, but anything that deals with money, or anything that totally free, too good to be true. Okay, there's no such thing as a free software, free item. There will always something that they need. There will always monetary value, okay, or data value, or something that can benefit the company. Right? There's no such thing as a free application. Okay, there is always something. You can also opt for advertisement. Okay, that's also another method. In-app advertisement. So a lot of games use this. But it is very annoying. Okay, it's very annoying when you have advertisement, because sometimes the ad pop up suddenly, and then cannot access the application. You have to wait to view the video or view the advertisement. That can be very frustrating application. Okay, so credit value. So you use some kind of credit, so that the product or service, every time user posts an item, there will be credit deducted from the total credit system. Okay, so, and then the free credit will run out, and if they think that the service is okay, they can use this as a business platform, and then they will purchase additional credit at very low cost, something like that. Just as long as the credit can cover the application, what we call as operation, and make money from it. Okay, so that's basically the general idea behind application requirement. Together, what are the requirements? But of course, you need to do a lot of methods. That one, you can use software. Let me try to look at. I've sent out. You can use this as your reference if you're not familiar to yet. Let me just check on this for those who are not familiar yet with this. All right, so this is from Java Point, software engineering tutorial. Where's the link? Just open up the link. Here you go. All right, so this is a software engineering tutorial. So for those who are not yet familiar with the technique, so you can read from here, what are the documentation, what are the methods used, and you can just follow or read from here. Okay, so this is basically a good reference for you to use. Okay, so let me share this through your WhatsApp group. Oops, sorry, not that. Not this one, because I want to copy this one and put it there. All right, so that's you can use that as your reference. A lot of readings, methods available, models available, waterfall, rat, spiral, V, increment, prototyping, Bing Bang, and whatnot. Agile is also quite popular. Yeah, agile methodology. But usually I just use a rapid application development or rapid prototyping model, so something, or the usual or the oldest method here, waterfall model that you can use for. Okay, so planning, risk management, requirement, data flow, ERD. So those are the things that you need to learn, or you should already learn in your software development class. Okay, so this is the requirement analysis here. You can see, draw the context diagram, develop prototype, model requirement, finalize requirement. So this is the requirement analysis, context diagram, what are the things required, model the requirement, finalize the requirement. So just get the idea first. Prototyping here is not like full application prototyping. Sometimes you can just use a draw. You can draw on the paper and then sketch basic UI. Is this what you want? Is this what you mean? So this page move to this page. So something just to confirm to users' requirement. Okay, just to confirm. And I believe you learn this in software engineering class, right? So many methods available out there. Okay, and then go to the application design. So I just modified the methods. So straight away, so since I have the requirement already, so I need to fulfill all the requirements. So my application design here is just how the applications will work. The pages required. So here I come out with just a quick page that describe the flow of the application. The reason that I don't separate two users is basically because sometimes in application, you separate from customer and also seller. But in our case, in this application, we don't do that. We don't separate between user and seller because both of them they can become seller. They can also become buyer. Okay, so those basically comes from the requirement. So out from there, we have the application design. We start with the splash screen or splash page. Sometimes I call it page, sometimes I call it screen. But a better name should be screen. For page, usually we use for web, but they can also mean screen or page. They're basically the same. So splash page, splash screen, and then go to the main page. Okay, so the main page basically will list all the products, and then when user click any of the items inside the main page, it should display details page. And here, when a user or buyer or seller would like to get details of the product, details of the product in terms of contacting the buyer, or contacting the seller. So they will be required to log in. Okay, so that's where we allow them to search for items, but to be able to contact the person, you need to register, because any application will fail if you don't have user base. Okay, how do you get user base? User base you get from user who register with your application. Okay, so if they register with your application, then you have your user base. So that user base is very important because they comes with their contact information. Okay, so if you want to promote something, or if you want to have numbers of user of your application, so you have that base. Any application without user base will fail eventually. Okay, they will fail. They will die out. So you need to have a method to attract. So here we try to attract people first. Main page. So through the main page, we don't force user to log in. Okay, this is what we call as a login wall. So we try not to have login wall unless it is really necessary or for security purposes, then you might want to do that. So once you have this, the login wall removed, there's no login wall here. Logins only available if you want to post item. Okay. But once you have that, go to login page, and then if you don't have account, you can go to the register page. Once you have that register page, you can go to user page, you can go to profile page, and then payment page if you want to buy more credit, and then new product page if you want to create new product. Okay, so that basically how the application is going to work or flows. But if there's any changes later on, I'm going to change the flow of the application if it is required later on. So I talked about that here. Login page, what are they and how do we deal with that? Right. Okay, so as you can see here, you can see there's a draw, the context diagram. So I don't have that. So that one can be put into your, if you're doing any final year report, this is the thing that you should have or you need to have. Okay, so once you choose a project, so you need to have all these diagram step describe what you have done to be able to complete or to be able to build the prototype. All right. Models, the requirement and whatnot. So those are the data flow, the entity relationship ERD, the data dictionary, state transition diagram. So those are the models requirement, and different models, they have different requirements. So some require ERD, some require DFD, and some require there are so many things that you can work with. And now it comes to the development requirement. All right, so the development requirement for this project, for this application here is as follows. So since we're going to develop the front end or the user interface, the back end, which is the API, we're going to use REST API, RESTful API, sometimes they call it REST, sometimes they call it RESTful. And then the database itself. So here we have MySQL database. So this is how the architecture of the application should look like. You have the front end, the internet, which is the internet, and then you access to the web server, which will provide access to the database server. Okay, so this is the idea now. So when we talk about mobile application development, which use HTTP request, HTTP RESTful API. So this is the typical. When the application click or load something or request something from the database, so the flow requires, and then the server will respond and return back the response, and then waiting for the next request. So this is not socketed network. Okay, socketed application. Socketed application means that you maintain the connection throughout the application lifecycle, but this is not. Request API, respond, process, respond, and then return back. That's it, and then wait. So For the UI, definitely we use the Flutter. This class is about that. But you can develop front end by using different framework. But since this class we use Flutter, so the front end will be Flutter only. Because I do have one problem before this. One of the students, they developed by using different architecture, which is I'm not quite sure where does he get this from. But yeah, I just want to be clear here. This is mobile application. We use Flutter SDK here. All right. I did not use any other SDK except for Flutter. For the backend, I'm still my favorite backend still PHP. Even though there's a lot of saying PHP is dying, PHP no longer favorite by developer, but 75% of most of the web servers still running PHP. So that says a lot about PHP. It's still here, even though the technology already been here for almost like 30 plus years, but it's still here, still strong. So PHP as our as our API handler. And the database that we use here is basically MySQL database. Okay, so that basically the technology stack that I'm using here. So for that, for the development machine, for the development application stack, I use XAMPP. Okay, so to enable the web server and also database service. So that is the application stack so far. But until we publish the application, so this is our requirement. This is the requirement for now. Okay, because when we start to publish, so there are some other requirements that we require, such as the web hosting that you need to get if you really want to publish later on. But here it is. This is the technology that we're going to work with. Definitely for those who know about MongoDB or any database, what we call as a non-SQL type database, yes, definitely you can build a complete application by using that. But since you don't have much experience with Firebase, with MongoDB, which is you don't learn that during your database class, so that's why we stuck with MySQL, which is free database, open source database that works and that is being used by most of the web server, web application out there. Typical development. All right, so for those who are not familiar with XAMPP, so this is XAMPP. If you install this before, I believe if you already taken mobile programming or web engineering, so you should be very familiar with XAMPP. Okay, so XAMPP basically allow you to create your own web server locally. Okay, you can create your web server locally, and it should be here somewhere. It's my XAMPP. Should be down here. Hold on. Let me fire that up one more times. Should be down there. There you go. All right, so this is the current version that I'm running. This is version 3.3.0, but I believe there's a new version already out there. So you can install the latest version. So as you can see, the modules or services available or provided by XAMPP, they provided Apache and MySQL. The rest of the service, there's no need for them because we haven't used each of the service here. So there are two main services that will be required, which is the Apache that enable the web hosting, the HTTP service. So all you need to do is just press start, make sure that this turn green and enable. And another one that we need is MySQL. and then turn on, make sure that's turned green. Okay, so just make sure that both service are running and their port is running, working, HTTP port 80 or 443 for secured SSL. And 3306, this is for MySQL port application port. So make sure this basically working. So you can close that and you can access that service by using either your localhost link. Sorry, this one, localhost. Is it that not going there? I've already started the server. pp localhost should redirect. Yeah, there should redirect to this localhost dashboard, or you can use your IP address and then use that as your URL. So this is the dashboard for XAMPP. So this is for those who are not familiar. This is just a very quick tutorial. So here basically allow you to access to the dashboard and to access the database. The database manager here, they use phpMyAdmin. So phpMyAdmin basically allow you to create database, to manage database, to store data, update data, perform all the CRUD database operation is all here. Okay, it's all here. So we're going to use this as our database. And for the server directory, so this is again for those who are not familiar. So XAMPP, when you first install XAMPP, usually the directory for the application is under folder C, drive main C, root C. And there's a folder called XAMPP at the bottom down here. So this is XAMPP folder. And all the HTTP document, all the PHP document later on that we're going to use will be inside here. But here, as you can see, I already have my parser. So maybe I'm going to give names my parser version 2. Okay, so new version. So I'm going to create the application directory here, and this application directory will be used to store all the server-side script. All right. So that about the XAMPP application stack services. The second technology that we need or you need to work with, because this semester I'm going to use full RESTful. Before this, I just use post and get only. Okay, just use post and get. And this is new. For this semester, I'm going to introduce full RESTful service. Okay, so the RESTful service provided by HTTP. The most usual RESTful service that you use, that normally used by web application, is post and get. And when we talk about in relation to the CRUD operation, so post usually used to create data, but get only for read data, like for searching, we use get array. And there's also another HTTP service verb that you can use here, such as put, patch, and delete. So these three services here used to for other CRUD operation, for update, replace, or for update, modify, and also the last one to delete data. Because each of the RESTful API basically allow you to retrieve these collections here. Okay, such as 201 created, 200 okay, 405 for method not allowed. Okay, so those are the service. But all in all, actually you can just get away with either post and get, but for this semester, I'm going to try out put, patch, and delete to complete the RESTful service. Okay, so we're going to use all of these for the RESTful services to implement CRUD database operation. Okay, so I'm also not familiar with put, patch, and delete, but they are basically for the operations that we need. Okay, so we will try them through the use of our HTTP service. Okay, now to create the application, so I'm going to create new v2. So I'm going to create Flutter application v2. So I'm going to use command prompt. So we want to create new Flutter project. So to create Flutter project, usually you can use the method that through the Visual Studio Code. But usually when you want to create a full application or fully functional application or fully prototype application, you need to use, it is better to create through command prompt. So I'm going to go to my document. Where's my Git? Is it under my document? Sometimes I forgot. Oh, there's no file under here. CD, is it under here? Nope. CD, where's the folder directory? So let me just open up my folder directory. This is dir CD. I think it's under document. CD document. This is my folder. All right, this is my folder. Okay, so CD GitHub CD CD A221 or Flutter A221. It is the folder that I push to the server. So we have two applications there. So I'm going to create the MyPasa version 2 here. So to create new project, just give Flutter create org com dot. So let's say we use or I can use the name of my usual company. So Slumberger. So the name of the package will be MyPasa V2 is version 2. And press oops, missing create there. And that basically how to create this application. Okay, so wait for the Flutter create to finish. Done. So you should be able to enter directory. So you can see there's a new directory there, MyPasa v2. So cd MyPasa v2, and then now you can start. You can just give the instruction as you can see here. I think the dot put. Sorry. Should fire up that Visual Studio Code inside. Not inside. I forgot the code that I use. Is it? So run. Delete MyPasa. Your application code is in there. Is it? Forgot already. But never mind. I just open straight away from here. Just open the folder. Okay, so when you open the folder, go to that particular directory. So mine is under GitHub, under document, GitHub, under Flutter A221, under folder MyPasa Will2, and select this folder. Okay, so now we wait for the folder to properly open, and we work with the, and close that. Wait for the application to ready. So here what we have is this. Okay, so we have server. Oh, we need to create server directory before that. Okay, so we need to prepare our server directory. So wait for it. So you should be able to see your main.dart here. Okay, so next we have created the application, and then you need to move to your server directory. So your server directory here, as I mentioned before, create new folder inside your XAMPP htdocs. So I'm going to name my PASA v2. Okay, so since this is for version 2, so I'm going to use my PASA v2. So everything, all the server side application will be here. So once you're ready with that, we can start with the database setup. So usually the way that I work, I start with the database. So we're going to work with the database first. And for here, I believe I use MySQLi. I'm going to create new folder inside. Again, access my Pasar V2. And inside the folder, inside this folder here, usually I'm going to create a number of folders that deals with the application. Okay, this is not required, but usually for anything related to PHP, so I'm going to create new folder. So I'm going to create PHP folder. Anything related to images, I'm going to create folder called assets. And so far, these are the only two folders that we required for now. So the server, if you want to access the server, you can go to the local host and then go to MyPasar here, MyPasar V2. Okay, so for now, we allow for the web hosting to what we call as to implement a directory listing, but this is not, we don't supposed to allow for directory listing. You can actually disable directory listing, but for development purpose, should be no problem. You should be able to get away with this. This is just for you developing and testing and making sure everything works before we move or we publish the application to our web hosting. So now you can see there's a two folder here. This is now accessible, and then you can see there's a folder there. You can go back, you can go to assets folder. So there's still nothing yet. So this is basically equivalent to our web hosting or our server directory. Okay, so once you have that, we're going to create a database. So the database here. So we already have the old database, MyPasarDB. So you have to access, you have to go to access to the root folder, to the phpMyAdmin here. So go to the phpMyAdmin. So this is where we manage our database, where we create our database and whatnot. So to create our database, very easy by using phpMyAdmin. But for the web hosting later on, it's going to be a little bit different. Because the way that web hosting deals with database, okay, they don't allow you to create database here, but you need to use another menu to create that database. But for now, we just use what it is. To create new database, select new and give it a database name here. So I'm going to use my Pasar V2DB. So either you want to use underscore DB or not, that is up to you. They just a database name. So let's say I put underscore. So this is now going to be my database name. So go ahead and create the database. So now the database is ready, is there already with no table whatsoever. So here, my expectation that you already have your database knowledge a little bit, or if not, you need to learn this on your own. But actually, it's very simple to do, very simple to learn how to use phpMyAdmin. The only things that missing, if you don't have the thinking or you don't have the database knowledge just yet, that can be a little bit difficult for you to understand the concept of database, tables, and also fields. So you might need to learn that quickly. All right, so because I'm not going to cover that much. So now we have our database set up already. So the database now ready. And then we want to create what we call as a database connector. Okay, just a very important file called database connector. So once the database has been created, continue to create a special PHP file. So I usually create this database connector to make it easier later on. Okay, to make it easier later on to publish the application, because whenever you create the connector and the application or the API will require to connect to the database, we just call this include statement that will include this database connector and use the connector object there. Okay, so this is the database connector. So I'm going to take this code here and then implement this in the server directory. Let me just open the folder back. So everything related to that PHP, I put it inside here. But if you want to go for a little bit more, what we call as a proper, to create PHP and whatnot, or you want to implement a full open, what we call as object-oriented PHP. So you might need to have more complex PHP structure here. But here I'm going to use the simplest PHP so that everybody can understand. But if you want to go for challenge, you might want to try API from Laravel. Laravel also allow you to create, like if you want to understand or if you want to learn the industry standard, you can go for Laravel API. So the Laravel API, you can learn how to build or develop RESTful API by using Laravel. So they do have that service to create a RESTful API, not just to create a complete web application, but they do have that. Okay, you can see there, get, post, put, and delete, all can be done, all can be implemented. The RESTful API can be implemented by using Laravel. Forgot the term that they use. There's a name, special name for Laravel API. Okay, so the Laravel API here, the names here, they come up with the Laravel API. There's a name for them, for that. This is the older version. This is the document, but there's a new version already for Laravel. Okay, so yeah, Laravel industry standard. Is it Eloquent? Eloquent. We have the names. The current version is now version 9. Oh, they call it Eloquent. Okay, they're inside that Eloquent. They are able. You are able to create your RESTful API over there. But yeah, go explore on your own. But here we're going to use a fully controlled API that we're going to develop. So the first file we're going to develop here is the dbconnect file. So usually I just use Notepad++. So the Notepad++ here allow you to, the Notepad++ here allow you to create your database connector. So let me just create that quickly, put it there. So the only difference is that all you need to do is just change the variable. So this is version 2. The database name is my PASA v2 database. The rest of information basically the same. For example, server name, username as root, password as empty, and database name as my PASA v2db. Down here, this is our connector object. So the database connector object here use what we call as MySQLi. MySQLi object-oriented database access. Okay, so we use the connector object, new MySQLi, and perform the database connector by using all the parameter up here and pass all the argument required for the MySQL object to create the connection. And down here, just to test the connection. So if the connection is okay, then it's okay. If the connection is not, it will throw error. Okay, die the connection and throw error. So save this as a dbconnect.php and make sure that you save this under folder inside that PHP folder because that's where it should be. XAMPP, htdocs, and my PASA v2 under folder PHP and name the file dbconnect.php. So this is the PHP file, or you can just use the save as type PHP hypertext preprocessor file. So this is PHP file. So save that. Now you can see that data, the the Notepad++ automatically identify this as a PHP scripting. So they automatically do all the syntax highlighting and whatnot, right? So it can be very easy for you to read this. Okay, once you have that, you can test your database connector if your database connector is working or not just by issuing the database connector.php link. So we have localhost / myparsa v2 under folder php, and then the file name is dbconnect.php. Okay, and then press enter. If it written empty, means that the database connector is working. Okay, so the database connector is working, and then you can use the connector file here to include into your other PHP file. But for example, if it is not working, if it is an error there, so let me try to change the database name here. Let's say db4. Save the file and try to run again. You should be able to see this error. Okay, so this error let me know that the MySQL SQL exception, unknown database, there's no database with the name, and then all the script, everything will be thrown as log. Okay, so that is how you should be able to test your database connector, it is working or not. If throw nothing, it is working. If it throws something, you might need to solve the problem first. Okay, so once you have your database connector ready, now your server, your database is, you should be able to use the database already. So what's next? So next we need Android manifest to be updated. Reason being is that, okay, one of the issue with them is that they don't have HTTPS. Okay, you don't have that, the secured, the SSL version of a web access, a secured web access. They don't have that in as a local host. Okay, you can only access through HTTP, not HTTPS. So to enable HTTPS connections within your Flutter application and your database and your server, you will need to update this one very important file. You need to go to your, for Android, okay, this is for Android. For iOS, they don't have that. For Android, you need to update this file. So, but before that, let me quickly add my dependency, which is the very important dependency here, HTTP dependency, right? So make sure to add that into your project and go to your terminal, open terminal. Okay, make sure that your debug console is running and able to get exit code 0 to import your HTTP into your application dependencies, because we're going to depend on that a lot, as you can see here. This is the current version of the HTTP 0.13.5, so the latest version. So do that, make sure that you have your pubspec YAML, or you can manually add that into your pubspec YAML if you don't have, or you don't install the pubspec assist. The pubspec assist is basically available through the installation of pubspec. Just install this. Just install pubspec assist, and then automatically you have your pubspec assist, and then able to install that through your command palette. Okay, so that's just it. All right, now you have your HTTP library already there, but before that, you need to enable, okay, you need to go to Android, for Android application only, right? This is for Android. Because you are developing for Android, so you need to update, you need to go to app, you need to go to source, you need to go to main, you need to go to Android manifest here. Okay, so in the Android manifest, this manifest file is very important file for Android. Basically, all the application configuration, requirement, icons, and whatnot is all being laid out here. All right, so one thing that you need to add is this statement here, this parameter here. Android use clear traffic for true. Okay, you need this and dump it into the application level. This is the application level, so you can dump it under the icon here. Okay, and then save the file. That's it. Okay, so this is the only requirement to be able to use your XAMPP, or else you cannot use XAMPP at all. Okay, this is very important configuration file that you need to update. They call it Android manifest.xml. But for those who are familiar with developing mobile application by using Java, by using the Android Studio, so this file should be very familiar. So the Android manifest is very, or we call it manifestation file for Android application. Okay, so very familiar file. So once you have that, you can close. And then, yep, that's it. Oops, why is, oh yeah, I just updated some of the topic already. So I need to push this down to 12. There you go, topic 5 here. So that basically the requirement for the application. Oops, what is empty here? Oh, there are the empty pages that I need to claim. Claim some more. There you go. Right. This is topic 5. Okay, any question so far with this? All right, so now once you have your Android manifest updated, your database ready to be to accept tables, we go back to our main.dart. So here I'm going to remove everything. I'm going to start with main app. So there are two main app here. So choose the second one. So this is the first one, this is the second one. So choose the second one. Because the second one comes with themes. Okay, the first one they don't have. The first one only stateless widget, but the second one already comes with themes. But the only things missing is that you need to implement the My Home page here, which basically you can create. Let's say I'm going to create what we call as a splash page, and so that's about it. But I'm going to create that first just to remove that error. So stateful widget, STF. So you can see that there's a stateful widget builder. Okay, so you can create a stateful widget and then give the name, which is the, the My Home page. That's it. And this one definitely as a constant because we don't have any variable yet inside or object inside our class here. So now this is the starting point of the application. Okay, the starting point of the application. And let me do some what we call as application the code structuring. So as you can see here, usually, okay, this is not a must, but if you are into what we call as MVC architecture. This is just a development architecture. It is not a must, but it is good if you follow the architecture. But here I'm not going to use fully MVC, the model view controller. So just a simple model view, but the controller part basically combined with view. Okay, but the reason is that I need to combine both because I want to avoid complexity by using advanced state management. So if I want to separate UI with the logic, I need to have what we call as advanced state management, such as the block, okay, because block implement MVC architecture that can separate your UI and also your logic. But here I'm going to use a very simple one. And usually what I did is that I'm going to create a folder, one folder first, this folder called view, or you can use the user interface because here we're going to put all the view UI inside here. So views can be view also, should be no problem. So we're going to have multiple views. So I'm going to call it views. And another folder called models. Okay, so models view, and another one should be a controller, but that will require advanced state management. So I'm not going to do that. So most of the logic going to be inside view, and this can be what we call as introduce what we call as spaghetti code. Okay, you have logic inside view. That basically not beautiful in a way, but it does work and easier to understand. Much easier to understand. But once you get used to it, then you can move to the MVC, full MVC architecture. But for now, we're going to start with this. Okay, we're going to work with this to build our UI. All right, so we have our UI here, and then we have our this is the entry point of our application. So anything related to views, which is the user interface, is going to be placed inside this folder. Anything related to models, because later on we're going to use a number of models, so we're going to put it inside this folder, so that it is much easier for the developer to manage, you as a developer to manage. And later on, I'm going to introduce the controller, but that for later, once you get used to how Flutter built the application. All right, so we have all this already. And next, we're going to move on to topic 5. So here in this topic, we're going to work with all the applications. So I'm going to talk first about these applications. I'm going to talk about these first, not yet implemented. In here, in topic 5, topic 4 is all about preparing. Okay, preparing your application, preparing the environment, preparing the development codes and everything. But now in this topic, we're going to start one by one. We start with the splash screen or splash page, main page, and then we're going to move on from there. So that basically based on the design that I've talked before. So the design that I've shown to you before, this design here, okay, the application design, where is it? Nope, not there. Here, okay. So every pages here will be implemented, and then we're going to use this as our reference. But throughout this class or these sessions, there might be changes here and there because I don't do the design well properly here. So that's why it is very, very important for you to learn proper software engineering skills through your software engineering classes to gain the knowledge of being able to design the software. It is because you yourself later on will become a software engineer. So when we talk as a software engineer, the main task for software engineer is to properly design the software. Okay, it's like building a house. So when you build the house, you need a proper plan, blueprint, design, architecture, placement, 3D rendering sometimes. So that's basically your job, making sure that everything is in place, making sure that the customer agree with that design first. So then later on, the job for the developer to develop the software based on the design. So Without proper design, your application mostly will fail. Okay, without good design, your application will fail, because if you don't have proper design, that design, when you translate into real application, you might have problems here and there. Okay, like for example, the placement of the UI should be here, but then you put it somewhere else. So if you want to change later on, that can be very difficult for you to do that. So that is very, very similar. That basically the main task for software engineer, to engineering the software itself properly. Okay. But me myself, because I have done this many, many times, literally like thousands of times already, I have all the experience as a software developer, and then sometimes I just do it on the fly. But not to say that it is a good practice, no. But that basically based on my own experience. I'm not the type who like to write documentation so much. But yeah, again, you as a student in software engineering, your skill base is based on the ability to engineering a software. So that's why you call as a software engineer. You need to be able to properly engineering the software, so that the developer later on who take your design document and then translate that into a software will have easier task to do. Okay, so that is the main task as a software engineer. So for the next topic, for topic 5 later on, we're going to start with the application development. We start with the splash screen. So maybe I'm going to give it a different name, splash screen or splash page. So the page that handles splash. And usually for mobile application, you're going to start with a splash screen. Okay, it's not like web application. Web application, usually you don't have that. But for mobile application, for web application, usually you straight to the landing page. But for the mobile application, we're going to start with a splash page that usually describe your application, or as a branding for your application. Okay, it can be very simple, can be very advanced, can be animated, it can be anything that you like with the splash screen. Anything that describe about the application, that define the application. Okay, so for that topic, I'm not going to cover this in this video. So this topic basically will cover preparing your complete application development. So I hope that basically can help you in developing or starting to develop your full-fledged application, full stack application in topic 4.